What's up, everyone? Aaron Neglige here with Cheesehead TV and your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live wherever you are on the internet, because that's where we want to be. We're devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide, with only 10 days until training camp. Can you believe it? We're almost there. It's the deep breath before the plunge, to quote Gandalf. And good to see everybody in the comments here. How are you doing, everybody? Good to see Ryan, Adam, Andy. Good to see you all. Thanks for jumping on board. And, the big news today is the release of the Madden Ratings, which obviously is not big news and doesn't matter at all, but it is fun to watch some of the players either get upset or get excited. Just before I jumped on, I saw Adrian Amos told Kenny Clark that he would have been higher, except he said LeBron was better than Jordan, so his awareness went down. That's what I'm on Twitter for, right there, that kind of exchange. What's up from Alaska? How you doing? George Lucas loves my daughter's Star Wars podcast. So, well, that's, if there's a target audience, there you go. Jeff, Robert, Mississippi in the house. What's up? Jesse, how are you? Steven, did I have a good weekend? I did. My band played for the first time in 15 years. So it was a bit surreal, a bit crazy, but I had a good time. And I pretty much punted on Sunday because I was so hungover. Packers, what's up, Adam from the UK? You're going to be in Turkey next week? Man, I would love to visit half the places that check in here throughout the season and off season. We get, people from Germany all the time, Russia, the UK, India, Japan, all places I've never been. Well, I've been to the UK. The rest of them, I'd love to visit. Where do the Packers stay the night before a home game? Dylan, they stay in a hotel, the name of which I'm not at liberty to say. Yo, Scottsdale, what's up? What free agent in the last 10 to 15 years do you wish the Packers would have signed? 10 to 15 years? Holy cow, that's going back away. Sorry, guys, getting texts. I don't know, let me think about it. Prime Jennings versus Prime Jordy, who would you take? Prime Jennings, every time. I think Jordy Nelson was amazing, obviously, had great chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. But Jennings was an absolute freak at the height of his powers. Did you read that right? Are we really 10 days away from training camp? Julia, you read it right. 10 days away. We're almost there, people. Almost there. Heard you on 97.3 The Game with Steve Zabin. It was awesome. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks for checking it out. That would pretty much kick off our partnership with 97.3 The Game throughout the season. I'll be appearing on their stations and the iHeartRadio app each and every day during football season. And I'll be hosting a post-game show each and every week, either from Green Bay or here in the studio for their away games. So make sure you check all that out. Make sure you download the iHeartRadio app. You can check out all of Cheesehead TV's stuff, both wherever you normally consume it and on the radio app if you want to catch it live. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Casey Hayward was a free agent. He was, but I always understood them letting him walk. That one never upset me. Micah Hyde, that one I never got. But Casey Hayward, in the context of what was going on, totally made sense to let him walk. And I get that people get upset because he went to San Diego, now LA, and played really well, but it made all the sense in the world to let him walk. Nag, should we pick up Melvin Gordon? No. Bigger hurdle in training camp, learning new system or injuries? Oh, injuries, 1,000,000,000% injuries. Learning the new system, trying to, create chemistry, so to speak, getting on the same page, whatever you want to call it, that will all come, that regardless of how they go about it. It may take a little bit longer. Some guys may pick it up quicker, faster than others, but injuries have a much bigger role to play in determining the fate of your football team than anything schematically ever will. In today's NFL, more than anything, the one factor that you really can't control, and I know fans love to think they can, but the one thing you really can't control, you can try to mitigate it, is injuries. And they do injuries, especially early on in camp, they do a far bigger job of steering the direction of your football team through the season than anything else that happens in camp or throughout the regular season. Speaking of injuries, if Aaron Jones hurts his knee for the third year in a row at Soldier Field, can we do a stock sale to fix that crap place? Unfortunately, what's crazy about Soldier Field is that it's not even under the purview of the team. It is literally part of the Chicago Parks Department. And that's why it's such crap. That's why it's, no one really takes care of it. Because it's a city-run entity. It's ridiculous. Packers beating the Bears on September 5th will make my first child's birthday all that much more special. Whew. I mean, go Pack go, right? It's a tall order. Rookie head coach on the road in prime time against a team with a really good defense, with implementing a new offensive system. Maybe it'll be a defensive battle. Maybe the Packers win the turnover battle. Give Aaron Rodgers a bunch of short fields. We can hope. Happy birthday to your little one. Packers versus Bears. Love Cheesehead TV, Neglige, much better than the other company. If you mean Gannett. Hey, newsflash, so do I. Have the Vikings fixed their offensive line? Have we? Dennis, that's two really good questions. Obviously, the rubber meeting the road during the regular season will go all the ways to answering those questions. Sitting here in late July, I will say that the Vikings have improved their offensive line. I don't know to what degree, but it certainly should be better than it was last year. As far as the Packers go, if you're looking at the Madden ratings, no. Holy cow, Billy Turner with a 63? What? But I think Madden ratings are ridiculous and don't really mean anything, so I'm saying yes, the Packers have vastly improved their offensive line. I think Turner's versatility especially helps them out in case something were to happen to, say, Brian Bulaga, like it always seems to. I think the drop-off from him to Turner, if they kick Turner out to right tackle, as I suspect they would be much less than the drop-off between Bulaga and Spriggs, as we have seen over the course of the last few seasons. Now, the big question is can they solidify the interior? Because that's what killed them last year. I think Taylor has a bounce-back season at left guard. I think he fought through a lot of injury last year, and it certainly showed up in his play on the field. I think he'll be his play will improve, and I think Turner will be an improvement over the revolving door of guys that they put there at right guard last year. So yes, I think the Packers have improved their offensive line. Now, of course, all of this is a bunch of hot air with 10 days until training camp. Those pads will come on camp starts in 10 days, so 13 days from now, those pads will come on, and then we'll really see what's what. My heart wants a 10-plus win season. My head says we are closer to a 6-win team. I guess I understand that, Chad. I think 6 is a little low. I do think they will win more games than they did last year. I think they are significantly improved on the defensive side of the ball as far as the talent level goes, and I think that will keep them in some games. But I also think that 10-plus wins, I think that's a pretty big jump for a team that's missed the playoffs 2 years in a row now and has a rookie head coach. In the 100-year history of the Green Bay Packers, they have never had a rookie head coach take them to the postseason. And you have to think you're going to need 10 wins to get to the postseason. I think a 9-win season is pretty reasonable to expect. That's a 3-game improvement from last year with a rookie head coach. I mean, I know fans would be very disappointed to miss the playoffs 3 years in a row, but I don't think it's crazy to think that. Any chance of getting Bob Harlan or Ron Wolf to do a Negler's Never Right interview? I suppose there's an outside chance. I'd be very surprised on Ron Wolf, but Bob Harlan maybe. But speaking of Negler's Never Right, be sure to check out the Patreon page tomorrow for the latest edition of Negler's Never Right. I have a big treat. I've got a couple of special guests. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you check it out. Drop in tomorrow morning. Any word about Ibraheim Campbell? He looked the part. Fabian, I completely agree. I got to think, given how late in the year he suffered his ACL injury, I'd be surprised if he's able to pass a physical at this point still, but maybe. I mean, you never know. These guys now, they come back so much quicker than they used to. Maybe they hit camp and they are able to sign him, and he's able to participate at least on an eased-in basis. But I agree with you. I think last year, it's crazy. They signed him late in the season, and he just showed up and walked in, and obviously he'd worked with Pettine before, but He came in and was instantly the best tackling safety on the roster, which is kind of a sad indictment of what was already there. But I'm with you. I think he would very much make sense to go and get. Let's head over to Twitter, shall we? See what's on the old tweet machine. Starting with Jordan saying, as a person who would love to see Duke Johnson on the Packers, and with him looking to be dead serious about a trade, what do you think it would take to get him? Maybe a fourth rounder to do it? Maybe Josh Jones? Yeah, maybe Josh Jones, I guess. You got to think disgruntled for disgruntled. I would be absolutely shocked if Brian Gutekunst gave up draft capital to go get a running back. You can debate whether the Packers need him or not. I don't think they do. You clearly do, and that's fine. You're allowed that opinion. I totally understand where you're coming from. I just don't think he gives them anything far and away better than what they already have on the roster. Maybe is a slight increase in the passing game, but I don't think exponentially so, talent-wise. I think you just got to give the guys that are already on hand more opportunities in the passing game, and they'll probably give you the kind of production you've seen out of Duke Johnson in the passing game. So, yeah, could it happen? Sure. And I think if Josh Jones for Duke Johnson happened, that would not, that would make sense to me. But yeah, draft capital of any kind, unless it's maybe like a conditional seventh. And even then, I'd be shocked if Gutekunst pulled that trigger. Craig asks, Aaron, I'm a fan of Jimmy Sturr. Some may call him the Polka King. This got me thinking of Wisconsin. Is there any other king in Wisconsin I should investigate? You should check out Ticket King. You can check out their link at cheeseheadtv.com, about halfway down the page, or any post page, really. And it'll take you to Ticket King. They're physically located across from Lambeau Field, and they have got all your Packers ticket needs taken care of, whether it's a preseason game, any regular season game, both home and away, or if they're lucky enough to get into the postseason, they can handle that request to Ticket King. Check them out for all your Packers ticket needs. Let's head over to the live chat again, shall we? See what's going on live in the chitty chat. Will the Packers be on hard knocks if they miss the playoffs but have a winning season? I forget the rules. No, yeah, if they have a winning season but miss the postseason, they are absolutely eligible. The reason they weren't this year is because they had a new head coach, but if they miss the playoffs, they are absolutely in the running for hard knocks, which, that would be so great. But you got to think Mark Murphy's going to do everything in his power to make sure that doesn't happen. MVS is looking crazy quick. I agree. I've seen some of those videos that have surfaced with him and Randy Moss. Some of those I think were from his rookie year, but I know he's been working with Randy Moss again. Very exciting. The unlocked potential there. What did the Motel Men close down their set with? Well, we do all originals except for one song. The second to last song we did Enjoy the Silence, and people actually danced. It was crazy. And then we ended with a song I wrote called Better Woman. What do you think is Martinez's ceiling? Could he be the most improved Packer this year? I don't know about most improved. That's probably a bit much. I think I've mentioned here several times, I think he is very close to achieving his ceiling. I think the big kind of hurdle he has to overcome is splash plays / turnover plays. I think that's what takes him to the next level, if you want to talk about levels, especially with national recognition. He, a very productive player. Obviously, he's been in the league leader for tackles for the last few years. Very assignment sure. Sure, gets caught up in the wash sometimes. Sometimes some of those more athletic linemen get up on him and erase him from plays. That does happen sometimes. But for the most part, I think he gets into the conversation of some of the better inside backers throughout the league if he starts making more turnover plays, whether that's forced fumbles, whether that's big-time sacks, whether that's strip fumbles, whether that's interceptions, of which he's had a few kind of, in his hands that he's dropped. If he just starts closing the deal on some of those plays, that's, to me, the big step he needs to take. Other than that, I think he's a really good player. And I know for some reason Packers fans, a certain subsection of Packers fans, are always looking to move on from good players, but not this guy. How important do you think a Game 1 win is to Matt LaFleur and his team? Honestly, Julia, not very. Clearly. Would it be a boon? Would it be a great feeling? Would it be awesome to go in there, Soldier Field, Week 1, 100-year anniversary, beat up the Bears? Whatever. Would it be great? Yeah, of course it would. But in the long, especially career-wise, but even in a season, it's not that big a deal. I'm sorry. It really isn't. It's a 16-game season. Week 1 doesn't determine anything. Now, again, would it be great to go out down there and come out saying the Bears still suck? Yes. God, especially after this summer. Oh, especially if like Adrian Amos just clearly outplays Clinton Dix. That's like the win-win scenario for Packers fans. We'll see. Will I be in the press box this season? No, I will not be. I will be watching the games wherever I damn well please, probably maybe enjoying a beverage or two, and then talking about it on the radio and listening to people vent and or praise the Packers. It's going to be a good time. Week 1 is a must win. God. Oh, I missed you folks. I missed the week 1 is a must win, folks. That's good times. I think we are going to have to lean on the defense early on. David, I think that's, reasonable, right? Especially when you look at everything that was spent, added on the defensive side of the ball. It's clear that's where the major injection of talent has come from. They've got talent on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be, basically brought along, not slowly, but as fast as they can, obviously. But it's just crazy to expect them to hit the ground running week 1, so especially against a defense that talented. So yeah, I tend to agree. I think the defense will have to maybe not win them games, but keep them in games. Give the ball back to Aaron Rodgers a few times, more than maybe we're used to seeing. I want Adams to take a slant 75 yards for a TD with choosing the wrong angle to chase him down. Ben, oh, the GIFs. Oh, the Twitter GIFs if that happens. Oh, from your comment to God's ears, please. Would you rather have a dangerous passing offense this year or a running game? Probably a running game because everything else flows off of that. I mean, I think if you have a running game with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, a dangerous passing game is like the next logical domino to fall, right? Look, I mean, I think obviously the dream is to have both, but if I have to choose, I'll choose the running game because it'll open everything else and it takes pressure off your quarterback. Coming off 2 injury-filled seasons, I'm all about it. Packers would have won more Super Bowls if Hundley didn't chew gum. Matt, it's good to see you back, buddy. Lofton or Sharpe? Norm. No, Norm. Come on, Norm. And I love James Lofton. I love James Lofton. I met James Lofton at the Super Bowl and professed my love to the man. But that's Sterling Sharpe each and every time you ask that question. Sterling Sharpe, A, should be in the Hall of Fame. B, Sterling Sharpe is probably the most physically gifted wide receiver ever to wear the green and gold, and I'm including Dot Hudson in that statement. Sterling Sharpe is one of the greatest players to ever step on a football field. Yeah, Sterling Sharpe. Who will get the wide receiver 2 spot, MVS or Jimo? Julia, I would guess right now, sitting here 10 days before training camp, I'll say MVS. But hey, these things are very fluid in camp. We'll see what the opportunities are like. We'll see who does what with those opportunities. I think MVS, clearly, if you look at the offseason, you look at what they did through OTAs and minicamp, it's clear that he's kind of entrenched himself as the perimeter guy opposite Adams. But camp, pads come on, a lot of these things can change. And a lot of things will change throughout, like not only the course of camp, but throughout the course of a week or even a couple days. So yeah, right now, sitting here, late July or mid-July, I'll say MVS, but that could absolutely change in a couple weeks. Do the Bears have equal reason for optimism? Sure, it's the NFL, man. Everybody has optimism. Hell, the Buffalo Bills have optimism right now. Look, you look at all the off-season chatter, and realistically, there are traditionally like 4, 5, 6 teams with like a legit championship sitting here in July. They're going to be in the mix type of team. Now, the Packers used to be one of those teams, but they are no longer. Now, they still have the talent to do so, but they're not a team that you can really count on in that regard. The Bears, coming off a really good year, what are they? Are they a team that's about to go on that kind of run and become a perennial contender? Or are they the Jaguars? A team that got close and had a good season, but then has a major regression the next season. I mean, well, that's why they play the games, right? But looking at it from the outside, the big change is losing the defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, to Denver. To me, that's the biggest question mark because they've still got all the talent in the world. Nagy's still a really good coach. They've got tons of talent on the defensive side of the ball. It's just a question of can Pagano at least keep it level, right? I mean, can they keep creating the kind of turnovers they were last year? Because those are the two big the two big variables that made their season last year were the turnovers they created on defense and how healthy they were, because they were extremely healthy. If they can repeat both of those things, and that's really tough to do, then yeah, I think they have lots of reason for optimism. But we'll see how that plays out. Packers have done so much more to improve their roster than the Bears this spring because we could. Well, yeah, they could because they needed to also. The Bears have a pretty damn talented roster. I mean, I know Packers fans don't want to hear it. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago, but the Bears are no joke. They are a very talented football team, and they have a good head coach. Bears still suck, sure, of course, forever and always, but don't discount them. On Travius Adams to be the most improved player. He's flirted with his potential a lot. Herbert, I very much agree with that sentiment as far as the flirting with potential. You really saw it come into its own last month of the season last year. If you can continue on that trajectory, that's always the question, right? We've seen it go both ways. We've seen guys who have a good end of the season and then come back and kind of flame out. And then we've seen guys that have taken that next step. And really, it's down to the work you do in the offseason as a player and how you hit that ground running once camp starts. But hey, I obviously hope for the best with Adams because he would add to an already talented defensive front. We missed out on Grady Jarrett. Man, Joseph, don't remind me. I was begging the Packers to draft him. Begging the Packers to draft that kid. But hey, they got a lot, like I was just saying, they got a lot of talent along that defensive front. I'll take Kenny Clark any day of the week, so I ain't crying about it. Khalil Mack gets hurt, they will fall apart. Did you miss the 4 games that he missed last year where they didn't fall apart? Again, that's some wishful thinking right there. Nags, name one of the worst Packers seasons ever. Oh my gosh, my entire childhood, 73 through about 90. Take a choice. Pick any year, other than the strike shortened season when they went to the playoffs. That was amazing. But outside of that, I don't know. Take your pick. Ooh, thoughts on a season with 2 bye weeks? Oh, Daniel, no, don't. Okay, forget 18 games. Forget all this nonsense coming up about the CBA. This is all trial balloon bullshit from the league to throw all this out there and then make it, oh, the NFL has taken this off the table as to acquiescing to the players' wish. It's like put out there so it looks like they're taking something off the table that they were never really going to do anyway. They know that's a non-starter. Please, come on, don't fall for the trial balloon nonsense. If Rodgers plays every game, do we make the playoffs? Maybe. How's that? How's that for a hot take? All right, everybody, I'm going to have to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. And hey, I really do have to jump. Hey, it's for everybody who complains that I never jump when I say I have to jump. Thank you so much for being here. I can't express what it means to me that, it's mid-July and there are hundreds of people here talking Packers. It's great. I'm sorry if I don't get to your questions, but please keep it up. I love it. I love the engagement. I love hearing from you guys here, both on our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. That's where we want to be. We're dedicated to you guys, Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. And like I said, check out Patreon tomorrow morning. Going to be a special Nagler's Never Right. I'm really excited about it. Special guests. Check it out. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.